Boom! There it is, ladies and gents. E-commerce. I think this is the probably one of the safest bets for the next near future. If you're interested in learning a little more about that, then this episode's for you. Let's get this one on the road. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life. Prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. All right, ladies and gents, look, I believe that e-commerce is one of the business models that you should be investing in right now. There are more packages being delivered today to your doorstep than ever before. So how does one company keep up with such a growing demand? You got Amazon, you got Walmart, you got Target, you got all these big box places that are shipping orders. But you know what? It's the small e-commerce companies that are handling a lot of that fulfillment. So how do you win in e-commerce? Today's guest is here to talk about that mindset and the secrets that make for a successful e-commerce business. So let's get welcome to talk e-commerce with Miss Lara Rahib. It's party time. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on?
All right, yeah, let's do this thing. Okay, e-commerce. Like I said in your intro, like this is one of the biggest things that you can invest in. Either Amazon for fulfillment, Walmart stuff. I'm really intrigued in this thing, and I haven't taken any steps really towards it. I'm still kind of in that learning phase. So help educate me a little bit. Tell me your background. How did you get into this space?
Yeah, so actually, I started in 2016. I started in the Amazon space. I started my first store on Amazon, private label, buying in bulk, everything like that. And then it took off. I was doing about within 6 months, I was doing about $30,000 profit. And so I ended up, buying a house and retiring my parents. And then what happened is my income after a couple of months of those things happening, my income went from $40,000 profit all the way down to like $4,000 profit per month.
Ooh.
And I just had bought a house, I had a mortgage, and I just retired my parents, So I was kind of like, oh shit, like, what am I going to do now? You know what I mean?
It's worse. It's so much worse.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. I got those little movie clips that I drop in every once in a while. They'll mute you, but it's cool. We'll just keep going with it.
Oh, no worries, man. So basically, I was hitting $4,000 profit per month, and I had a mortgage, and I just retired my parents. So I was like, okay, like, what do I got to do? And you're probably wondering, like, okay, like, what happened? Why did my income go down from 30,000 to 4,000 selling on Amazon? And basically, it was just Amazon's platform, their terms of service. You don't have any control over your business. They can, if a customer has one tiny complaint, they'll take down your listing, and you have to call them nonstop to try to figure out what the problem is. Why did they take down your listing? What happened, and sending them all these reports and just being on the phone with them 24/7, trying to get your business back up. So you're basically relying on them. So that's one scenario of what was happening. My listings were constantly taken down for the dumbest reasons, because they had control over it. But I think also part of that was what happens with Amazon is they can see the back end of your entire business. So they know who your suppliers are, how much you're buying the product, how much you're selling it, everything. So for the high selling products, what they do is they compete with their own sellers. So since they could see everything on the back end, they basically, they can contact the same suppliers and buy way more in bulk because they have loads of money, right? So they get it at a cheaper price. So for example, if the average seller can only afford 5,000 units a month, they can afford millions and millions of units. So they're getting them for cents on the dollar. You know what I mean?
So let me get this straight. So you're saying basically they're using people who start up their stores as like the test guinea pigs, right? Let them
Yes.
put the capital in, let them test out the market. And once we realize that the market is actually there for that particular product, they're coming in swooping behind. Am I hearing you right?
100%. And you'll see a bunch of, you could Google Amazon owned brands, and you'll see like I'm sure you've heard of like Amazon Basics, and they're all over Amazon, and they sell the hottest products, the ones that are selling the best. And the thing when you're starting on Amazon is you have to work your way up to page one of the main keywords. So for example, if somebody's searching like, I don't know, frother, right? Random, I know. And someone, you have to sell a lot of units and get a lot of reviews to end up on page one of that main keyword.
Hmm.
But Amazon, when they start selling products, they can just place themselves on that page one. So you're like you're shit out of luck. You know what I mean? So basically that's what happened. Number one, they had way more control over my business than I had. And it was a struggle trying to obviously work with them. I didn't have any control. I was selling on a third party platform. Second of all, I was competing with them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like a nightmare. So what I did is I moved from Amazon, took all my inventory out, because it wasn't really selling anymore. I took all my inventory out, and what I did is I moved to Shopify. Okay,
Mm.
that's my own website, my own platform. But then I was like, all right, I have Shopify. And mind you, during this time, all my colleagues, because I was in like a certain program that I paid for and I invested in to learn how to do Amazon,
Yeah.
all my colleagues were going through the same thing, struggling. Okay. So what ended up happening is I pivoted because I needed to find a solution. As an entrepreneur, if you have a problem, you find a solution. So what I did was I moved to Shopify. So I started selling. First of all, I didn't right away take my inventory and start selling it on Shopify. What I did is I started drop shipping. Um, so what drop shipping is basically you don't have to have any inventory, right?
You can float it essentially.
Yeah, so you don't have to have any inventory. So someone comes on your store, buys the product, and then the supplier ships out the product for
Yes.
you. Right? You keep the profits. So I decided, okay, I want to learn drop shipping, but and master ads, right? Master social media ads, Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, Google ads. But I didn't know how to start, right? I got intimidated. I was like, fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do, you know what I mean? So I ended up hiring an agency, actually a couple of them, and I ended up losing about like $15,000 because the agencies didn't know what they're doing and I didn't know what I was doing, so I couldn't oversee what they were doing, right? I had no knowledge. I just trusted them. And that's why I always tell people don't outsource what you don't know how to do yourself, because there's no way of you knowing if they're doing it correctly, or actually, putting their money where their mouth is. You know what I'm saying?
You are so right. It's a language thing, right? So I teach a class called financial algebra, and a lot of what we do in that class is vocabulary. For
Yeah.
that exact reason, they're like, "Why? It's supposed to be a math class." I'm like, "Well, if you can't speak finance, how are you going to understand what I'm trying to teach you, right?"
Yeah.
And that's I love that you're explaining that so that other people don't like fall into that same pit of mistakes.
Right.
Like that is absolutely true. Take the time to invest in a course like that. Not maybe because you're going to end up doing it yourself, but at least you'll understand what you're expected to do, what a path or a strategy is, so that when you do bring on a professional to do it, you speak the same language now, and then all of a sudden you guys are going in the same direction
Yeah.
that you want to go in. It's not the blind leading the blind, right?
Yeah, because like when you talk to these agencies, they promise all these results and how they're gonna do it, but you don't have any fucking clue. I'm sorry, am I cool to cuss
Yeah, you're
on here?
fine. You're fine.
You don't have any fucking clue of like what they're saying is right, because you have no idea. You know what I mean? And you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's cool. That sounds great. Yeah, and they're just blowing smoke up your ass. So I ended up losing 15,000. So then I was like, okay, shit, this isn't working. What am I gonna do? So I got a mentor um in the space that I heard about, and he's successful. So I got a mentor, and I was paying him about 2,500 a month, and I think I was with him for about 8 months to a year. Different type of mentors, kind of like you were just learning how to do Facebook ads. That's it. Not e-commerce or anything like that. It was just like Facebook ads. pertaining to like e-commerce, you know. So I was learning like the ins and outs of everything. And then in the first 3 months of being like with that coach, I did 1.1 million in 3 months online.
Shoo, that's what I'm
With
talking about.
Yeah, with one product, drop shipping one product. So this was at the end of 2019. I started Amazon in 2016 and left it in like mid 2018. And then that's when I started learning and everything with the mentor that I had. So then I started like drop shipping and doing all that and making money, and then I decided, okay, like now I need to learn like Google ads and like other platforms so I could stay like in the now, you know, and always have other streams of income and other outputs, not putting eggs in one basket, you know. So what ended up happening is eventually like in 2020, um I'm sorry, that was at the end of 2018 going into 2019. And then so I was doing that for like a year, just making money straight with just drop shipping. Still doing it to this day, but not on Facebook, on Pinterest. So
Oh
I
yeah.
pivoted a little bit. But basically I the inventory that I had on Amazon, remember I was talking about that?
Yeah.
I took it out of Amazon. I kind of just had it there because I was learning the whole drop shipping and learning marketing and all that stuff. So then I decided, okay, like I need to sell. I know I can sell this product on Google shopping ads because there's a demand for it. I know it can work, you know? So I ended up getting a mentor for Google shopping ads. And I started implementing that in mid 2020. And it took off. I was doing about first month, probably like 25, 30,000 a month. And then as the months progressed, we were hitting like 70, $100,000 per month just on Google, no other platform.
And that's gross
Uh,
sales?
huh?
Gross sales?
Yeah, gross sales. So net was about 35%. It ranged every month. It was different. You know, that's business. Some months it would be like 27%. Some months it would be really high, like 37%. So it was like in that range of 25 to 37. But basically, um, then I had my brand back, right? That I initially invested in. I took it off of Amazon and I was doing it with Google because I told myself, like, if people are searching for this product on Amazon, I know they're searching for it on Google, right?
Yeah.
Because they're
Heck
both
yeah.
base buying platforms. So what I did was, like I said, I got a mentor for Google Shopping ads, and it was super easy to learn because I already had that background with Facebook, and reading the data is like the same thing when it comes to
Shortens the learning curve for sure.
yeah, it was just a different implementation, different platform, different strategies. So yeah, that's what happened, and then during that time, I had a buddy of mine that he was doing big numbers on Pinterest. So I thought to myself, okay, let me learn Pinterest. So I obviously paid for mentorship for that to learn from him. Me and I had a business partner that went in with me on Pinterest just because of like time constraints. And we were able to split like the tasks. But basically, yeah, we were doing high numbers too, like with Pinterest, still are. Pinterest is more like all we do is like drop shipping. Like we haven't like branded any stores or anything like that, but it's just straight like general store, bunch of products, drop shipping.
So what's the content strategy like for that? I mean, obviously each platform has different kind of strategy involved. But let's say, I mean, Pinterest, for example, I'd imagine you still have artwork, you still have examples, videos. Like, what are you doing as far as a content
Yeah.
strategy to test or relevant ads or placement, whether it's
Yes.
organic or paid?
Yeah. So what we do, depending on whatever platform it is, I have a method. It's called reverse engineering. Basically, what that is seeing what already is selling and doing it better. You know.
Mhm,
So, for example, for Pinterest, you could kind of actually, when you're scrolling, you could see like promoted by, just like on Facebook. You know, you see sponsored by. That's an
mhm.
ad. But on Pinterest, you see promoted by. So what you do is you scroll through Pinterest and you look for these ads with these types of impulse buying products, and then you save these ads like in an Excel sheet by with like clicking, right clicking, copying the link, save it in an Excel sheet, and then you come back 7 to 10 days later to see if the ad is still running. excuse me, if the ad is still running, that's telling you like, okay, obviously like the product
The conversion rate
that
must be pretty good.
must be, selling. And we actually have a new software. It's called PP ads, PIP ads, and it allows you actually to see, like if you plug in a store, you could see the volume of product they're selling. It's a crazy like software. So we actually just discovered that about a month ago. So that even accelerates, validates the process even better. You know what I mean?
Okay, I'm gonna pause you right here for a second because like I teach high school, right? And in high school, everything you just described was cheating and you get an F. Like literally, we're going through finals right now. You're like, look, all you gotta do is find the ad that somebody else did better than you already, right? Because it's out there. You're gonna check on it to make sure that it actually works. Then you're gonna do the exact same thing, but you're gonna change it a little bit so you make it even better, right? By the way, here's this other tool you can use so you can track to see which ones are actually doing well. Like, dude, that's 100% like opposite of what's taught in school all the time.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's a money making machine, dude. Like the online space, they come out with like we stay on top of everything, obviously, because we have a pretty big team, but we're always on top of like, okay, what new tools are out, like what is gonna, what new softwares are out, like like talking to different software companies, putting in requests, like just seeing like what they're able to do and give us in terms of like value, and in return we refer it, we become affiliates, you know what I mean?
yeah. It's a
uh,
it's a win-win situation in that
100%.
case.
100%. But yeah, so basically, you see what ad is working, and then you create a video ad, and there's different ways you could do that. You could do it by hiring different types of companies, like bands off ads. You could find somebody on Upwork to create your video ad, on Fiverr. You could, there's so many different types of video content companies. You could also do like UGC. Basically, that's user generated content, where like you send them the product and they create the ads for you. I mean, there's many different avenues. It kind of just depends on like the type of product and stuff like that. Like, for example, like beauty products, UGC works really good,
Mhm.
like user generated content. So once you do all that, you have to know, you also have to understand who your market audience, or your avatar is, like who your audience is, like who are you selling to, what problems are you fixing with your product, what solutions are you giving these customers, because people buy on what problems you're going to solve for them, right? No matter
Yep.
what it is, a product, a service, anything like that. It kind of is the same with product. You want to sell products that people need, not want, you know?
Yeah. Let me ask you about like if you're gonna get started in this space, like if you were gonna go back and start over, somebody's new to this space, because like I said, I'm teaching 17-year-old kids. They're like, what am I gonna do with my life? Some of them are looking into the e-commerce space. Like, what advice would you give to them? What kind of capital do you start with? Like, how do you get this ball rolling?
I highly believe in mentors, just because that's the path I took, and I've seen the path that it could be like if you don't. Like, I lost like $15,000, you know what I mean, by kind of
Mhm.
relying on people doing the work for me, like a done for you type thing, instead of learning the knowledge, understanding the ins and outs of the business, so you could truly run it yourself, and then you could start outsourcing because you know what you need from people,
Yeah.
so for me, I would highly recommend getting a mentor, somebody that's actually doing the business and doing like research on that person and really knowing who they are and they're actually doing the business. Because you'll see a lot of people in the space like trying to mentor people, or selling courses, and they don't even really do it themselves. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I think that's unfortunate. You know what I mean? So that's definitely the advice I would give. Now, depending on what mentor they go with, how much that's going to cost. I would say set aside like for just excluding the mentor. I'd probably say they would need between 2 to 4K for their business to start.
That's not bad. And a kid can do that in the summer pretty easily. A little
Yeah,
bit of flipping, a little bit of working on the side, like having a job. It's definitely doable, especially when you're living
yeah,
at home. You got like no expenses.
yeah.
Pretty quick and easy to get that squared away. That's not bad. All right. And then what happens? What happens when people go to your website, the ecomwolf.com? What are you gonna find there?
Um, they're gonna just some information about me. They're gonna be able to click on a link there, and that takes them to a video to learn about like e-commerce. And then if they're interested in working with me and my team, they get an opportunity to apply.
And what happens? What does it mean to work with your team? Like what are we offering the public here? What's our $100 million offer?
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. So basically, what we offer is we offer the modules, right? Pre-recorded videos that are constantly being updated. You get lifetime access to that. And then aside from that, you get 8 coaching calls a week. They're group coaching calls, and we've seen that that works much better than one-on-one because it allows you like sometimes your questions already get answered. It allows you to network and talk to people and stay motivated. You're kind of not alone in the space, you know what I mean?
You got a team, yeah.
Yeah, you got a team. So we have 8 coaching calls a week, and there's different topics to each call. For example, like website optimization, product research, Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, Google ads. So those are out of the week. Now, depending on what specific section you are in your business, like when you're first starting out, you're doing product research. So you would attend at least one of those calls a week. In addition to that, you also get access to a Discord channel. And that Discord channel, basically, we have different channels inside that channel. It's basically like Google ads, Pinterest ads, Facebook ads, product research, general chat, all that. So basically, students can go in outside of the calls, talk to other students, ask questions. We have 24/7 support in there.
Mm-hmm.
And well, not 24/7. Obviously, the person needs to sleep. But I mean, throughout the whole day, like there's support in there. And then outside of that, they also get a client success manager. Now, the client success managers are previous students that were successful. So basically, what the client success manager does is they have one-on-one calls weekly, and then they also to help make sure they're on track, to hold them accountable, and answer any questions that they have outside of the coaching calls, mindset things, things like that. And then they also have access to the client success manager on Voxer. So outside of the one-on-one calls. And then we also offer a guarantee. Our program is 3 months. So if at the end of the 3-month program, they're not making a minimum of $2,000 profit per month, then we work with them for free until they do.
No, that's nice because I was gonna say, like, what's the struggle like? Are they getting there to that marker in time frame? And like, what does
Yeah.
it take? Like, what do you find are the ones who are successful
Yeah.
that go through the programs and the ones that don't?
Yeah, the ones that are successful, the ones that are actually putting in the work, showing up to the calls, showing up to their client success manager calls, truly putting the work in, because we could tell you what to do 20 million different ways, but if you don't do it, then I mean, what's the point?
Yep.
Right? So what we're seeing a difference is people that are active, asking questions, attending the calls, attending their client success manager, active in the Discord channel. So those are the ones that are being successful, and the ones that aren't, don't really attend the calls. They ghost their client success manager. They're not really that active. So I mean, that's what we see, because there's no way that you can fail in this business if you're applying 100% proven strategies and systems the way we tell you to. The
Yeah.
only way you'll fail is if you actually don't take action and put those systems and strategies in place.
So what is every business needs help with something, right? Like we're all looking for ways to improve and get better. In your company, when you look at it as a whole, where are you at today and what are you trying to fix to get to where you want to go tomorrow?
Are you talking about the e-commerce business?
Yeah. Yeah, what you were just describing right now with the training that you get students to go through.
Oh, I thought it's because okay, so you're talking about the mentorship.
Yes.
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Like where are you at today with the mentorship program? Like where is it at as a company? And then like where do you plan on taking it? Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, so basically we have a lot of mission, we have mission, vision, and values that we look for, and we look at. Our mission is basically to, create and educate as many students as possible that are eager and hungry and are proactive and want to take action to start building their business so they can get financial and time freedom, and making them obviously successful and changing their lives. And we hold a lot of values like integrity and hunger, integrity, proactive, accountability, just like many things that we also look for in our clients that we bring in, because it makes no sense for us to just bring in anybody that's not going to do the work. We actually go through like an interview process with every candidate that applies to the program to see if they're actually going to be a good fit and are going to be successful, right? For example, if somebody only has like $1,000 or $2,000, we'll help them try to figure out a way to find the money to solve their problems and get to those next goals. But if they're not willing to do that, then there's really nothing we can do, So we're looking for people that are hungry, that are eager, that want to take action, that want to change their lives. So what we're doing basically future wise is that's what we ultimately want. We want to change people's lives, and we don't only do that through e-commerce. We also donate a lot of money to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So this year so far, we've donated $80,000 to Make-A-Wish.
Nice.
So we're changing like kids' lives too. So it's not just like people that are joining the program are also part of that change, and our whole team. So yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing, kind of like changing lives, because like to me, like money is one thing. Like, yeah, of course money's important, like you need it to live, and it's nice to have convenience with money and everything like that, but that's not the end goal. You'll reach a certain point with money where you'll be, and you won't be fulfilled anymore, right? Once you hit a certain point, you're looking at your bank account, that fulfillment kind of dies, and there has to be a bigger purpose, I believe, to your life than just money. Like, I don't want to be remembered as somebody when I'm not on this earth anymore that only cared about money. I want to be remembered as somebody that changed lives, as somebody that made an impact, that did this, that did that, and actually left this world a better place, instead of somebody that just all they cared about is money.
I love that. I love that. And ironically, it's that kind of mindset when you get to that level where you have that ridiculous amount of money. It's because your ability to help more and more people. So I
Yeah,
commend you for that, right?
Yeah, 100%. And solve people's problems, right? And that's through e-commerce too. It doesn't have to be a service based, right? If you have a product that solves that solves a specific problem for people, that you're going to make a lot of money.
Yep. Yep. It's psychology. Either way, you got to figure out kind of how you are literally filtering the people out as they go through the process with the application, right? And we're doing the same thing in almost everything we do. When we choose our products, we're filtering out the ones we don't
Yeah.
like. And Amazon does it with us. They just put themselves on the top, and that's it,
Yeah.
right? That's how it goes.
Ridiculous.
All right. If people want to reach out to you, they want to get in contact with you, it's the best way to do that.
Yeah, I would go to my Instagram, the Ecom Wolf. They could send me a DM, or they can click the link in my bio. That would be the best way.
Awesome. All right. Any final thoughts before we head out? I mean, you were on the Business Bros podcast. I'm sure you're going around different podcasts on a podcast tour. Like what's your experience been like on other shows compared to this one?
I really like this one, man. I like the energy. It was super fun to do. I feel like it was just more like chill. I've been on other podcasts where it was just kind of like boring, you know what I mean? But I felt like this one had some more high energy and stuff like that, and about things that I was able to talk about things that I truly care about and I'm passionate for. So that was definitely cool.
Yeah, you can totally tell you're all about making a difference, right?
Yeah, 100%. No other point I feel like in life, I don't know, like
Yeah.
that's where true fulfillment comes in. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I got a couple of minutes here. Give me some final thoughts. Like if you're gonna
Yeah.
walk away and you're talking to, because my audience is a lot younger, right? They're getting into the entrepreneurial space. It's a new journey for them.
Mhm.
Like give me some final thoughts. What's something you had to overcome in order to get to where you are? Something that you had to stick to it. Maybe people were telling you something, you had to go with the gut. What's the thing that
Yeah.
you had to consistently do?
I think a couple important things. One thing is like not taking advice from somebody that hasn't done what you're trying to do and is actually successful at it, because a lot of people will say, well, let me talk to my mom, or let me talk to my dad, or let me talk to this person that isn't even an entrepreneur or in the business space. And it's like, how the hell are they going to give you advice if they're not making the amount of money that you want to make? So that's number one. Don't talk to people or get advice from people that aren't actually doing it or doing what you want to do or making as much as you want to make, like there's really no point to that. And another thing that I would say is that mindset's super important. When you're getting into business, there is going to be obstacles. There are going to be times where you feel like, fuck, this sucks. Like, like you're going to get down on yourself. But the most important thing to remember is not to focus on those failures, but figure out a way like how you could now pivot and change so that doesn't happen again. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's super important, where people focus too much on the negative instead of trying to focus on the positive and really understand, how can I do this different next time so I can reap better results, instead of thinking, oh my God, this sucks, forget it, I quit, like I'm not going to be able to move past this, so on and so forth, kind of just like my example that I mentioned when I got stuck with Amazon. I could have easily quit at that point, like this sucks, I'm screwed, I'm going to go into foreclosure. I got to tell my parents, never mind. You know what I mean?
Oh, no.
Fire you guys. I'm sorry. But instead, I figured out a way. I did problem solving. I used problem solving skills and really try to figure out a solution, because you got to understand there's a solution for everything. And even the people that think like, well, I don't have any money to start, there's a way to get money. There's always a solution to every problem. So if one takeaway for everybody, whether you have a roadblock in your mind or you're thinking of a problem, whether it's like, oh, I don't have enough money, or I don't have any time, or whatever it is, that's just an excuse. That's just a smoke screen, just blocking you from your goals. You need to say, okay, how can I make time? How can I get the money? Because if you just keep saying the same thing, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, then think about what your life is going to be like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the line. You're going to be stuck in the same situation with the same problems, and you're not going to have, nothing's going to change.
You become what you think about. If you continue to think about the failures that you're making, how much you suck and how bad you are, you're going to be that, right? You got to have faith that that's that end goal, that is attainable, achievable, and you're going to get there. Sometimes you're crawling. Some days you're like dragging yourself forward, but you got to keep going, right? You're going to keep going.
100%.
Dude, Lara, thanks for coming on the show today.
Man.
Lots of pearls, man. Lots of pearls dropped on today's show. Ladies and gents, look, you got to find a mentor. Like, I think that was the theme of today's program, is whatever you're going to start, doesn't matter. Somebody's out there who's already done it. Find them. Find that mentor who's already done what you want to do, and get the help that you need. And if it's in the e-commerce space, make sure you go to Lara's website. It's theecomwolf.com, theecomwolf.com. Check out what she's got there. And I mean, dude, it's up to you guys. We can tell you what's there. We can read it to you. We can hand feed it to you. At the end of the day, you got to do it yourself to make anything come true. So get out there and make it happen. Thanks a lot, gal. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
It's over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to